Okay, we'll begin with opening statement from Coach and then take questions after, so raise your hands, please.
Yeah, you gotta give Gonzaga a lot of credit. I mean, they play hard, big, physical. Every time we made a run, they had an answer. They're obviously one of the better programs in the country over the last 15, 20 years, and they figure out a way to win games, and they're doing it on yield boards. We gave up 25 second chance points. It's hard to win doing that. So season high for offensive rebounds for them, and you know what? We've kind of shown that if we're not really locked in to taking care of the defensive glass, that we're susceptible to that. I mean, it's happened. Purdue destroyed us on the glass. The two big games we've won, we out rebounded St. John's, or maybe even if I remember right, and we won the game. Against Illinois, we only lost the glass by 2, and we won the game. Tonight we lose the glass by 12, and on top of that, we can't make a free throw. We didn't shoot it well. Lost the turnover battle, and we ended up losing the game to a pretty good team. But they play hard. They get on the glass. You got a lot of guys that can go rebound anytime. Grant Foster, they're starting 3 as 5-0 boards. We just we emphasize our guards. Got to rebound it better. And, we starting backcourt at 0 rebounds at the half, and ended up with, Holloway ended up with 3, and LeBaron ended up with 0. Mari didn't have a rebound at the half. He's got to get in and help. He ended up with 4, kind of late there. But, it's not just our bigs, and they're not, Taylor didn't have a rebound at the half. We got to get more out of him. But, it's everybody. Everybody's got to contribute, and we're not a very tough physical rebounding team right now. Until we get that way, we're going to have a hard time consistently beating the best teams in the country.
Questions?
Nate, right here. I think it was a 2-point game when LeBaron had his last make. It was like 67-65, and then they sort of went on a little bit of a stretch and opened the lead up a little bit more. What did you think they did defensively there to maybe make life a little more difficult for him from that point on?
They came out of the one time out in the zone, and he turned it over. He's got to be better. I mean, he scored it well tonight. Everybody knows he can score it and kind of get in the paint pretty easily. He can finish at the rim well. I thought our bigs did a good job kind of in ball screens and then kind of sealing them off to give him some pretty easy layups that he converted. But he made a couple threes there early in the game. They adjusted a little bit. They went zone. I think they switched some. We're going to see that. At St. John's, I don't think switched a whole lot. We weren't really ready for it. They switched the whole game on us. So I think we're going to see different coverages, especially in ball screens, than what maybe some teams typically do, just because, he does a good job. I think he was kind of carving them up a little bit there with their quick showing back, and they adjusted and went to switching, and I don't think we did a great job tagging and switching. I don't think we did a great job attacking their zone, and they did a good job kind of switching stuff up, and he got slowed down there, but we can't. I mean, he did score 29. We can't, ask him to score 40 to win the game. It'd be nice if he grabbed a rebound or take care of the ball better. He can't have 6 turnovers either, but we got to get more help for him, and some of that's on him. He's got to set his teammates up a little bit better to score and help him out a little bit. I mean, I think we've got one of the better shooting teams in the country, and we didn't shoot it well tonight. So we got to find better threes for our shooters. Part of that's on them, part of that's on him, part of that's on our guys that are screening. It's a team thing to get our shooters better shots.
Nate, in going through the tape and the film in recent days prepping for this game, and then seeing Gonzaga in the flesh up close, what just stood out to you about how they play? And they got a bunch of guys who are like 23, 24. They got a lot of old guys as well. And some of that, I don't know, in facing them here, was some of that really evident and tangible?
They got tough, hard-nosed, hard playing. We showed a video of Ty and Grant Foster just destroying people on the glass, multiple boards just keep coming, and he had 7 rebounds, 5 offensive boards, scored 21 points. He hit the 1-3, but he's not like a no disrespect to him. I love how hard he plays. He's killed us twice now. We've Played him when he was at Grand Canyon. I think he had 29 on us. But it's not like he's an overly skilled. You're not all that worried about his three-point shooting, but he just plays hard. Like he's a veteran that knows how to get it done. If you're not going to box him out, he's going to go get on board. He's quick off the ground. He's athletic. I mean, we missed multiple checkouts with him, and you try to tell him, but when he comes every time, if you box him out half the time, he ends up with 5 boards. That's what he had tonight. So we just, but they do have older guys. They're experienced. They know how to win. I mean, we did a pretty good job on EK to start the game out with, and I thought Aiden did a really good job on him, and he ends up with 21 and 11. So pretty good night for himself, and I thought we were doing a pretty good job for a good part of the game there with him. And then we, had too many guys not do a great job. I thought Aiden Sherrill was probably Aiden's best game. It was nice. We were able to keep him in the game. He stayed out of foul trouble. Thought he played pretty well, particularly defensively. But, EK still ends up with 21. Huff still ends up with 18. Grant Foster ends up with 21. So, there's starting front court, really, with the way they play. All 3 of those guys are in the front court. They got 60 points there. So, it's, we didn't get as much. Aiden played well, but we got 16 points kind of out of ours. And if you throw a 3 in there, or 3, 4, and 5, starting 3, 4, and 5 at 16 points, and there's like 60. So our front court's going to have to pick it up, be better. I thought this was Aiden's best game, but they're pretty good up there.
Last one here from Myron.
Nate, you mentioned Grant Foster, and at 6'7", what kind of dynamic does that add to that Gonzaga team, and how does that complicate defending them?
Yeah, you end up with the way we play, we essentially play 3 guards most of the time. You guard him with a guard, and our guards are missing box outs. So, and on the other end, we'd like to spread them out. They kind of like to score in the paint. They had 6 threes. 4 of them came from Venters, 1 guy. We didn't do a great job on him either. They ran some good actions, and our game plan discipline wasn't great on the defensive end. But, they're going to try to beat you in the lane, and they did. They outscored us by double digits in the paint. It's 25-10 on second chance points, and I think Grant Foster's a big part of that. He drives the ball downhill, he gets on the boards. He just, man, if you're going to play 3 guards like we do, you got to have some tough guards. They got to do a better job. Amari's pretty tough for us. I think he, we ended up playing him a decent amount. He played 30 minutes, but he didn't really rebound in the first half. We got to get him. When we've been able to beat St. John's and Illinois, Amari's had 10 and 11 rebounds. Tonight he had 4, which is solid for a guard, but we need him to be double-digit rebounder first one in these big games and rebound it better. So we're going to keep harping on it. We're going to be one of the better teams in the country, but we're not going to be able to consistently beat these good teams if we can't consistently rebound it better than we are right now.
Thanks.
Thank you.